Hey y'all, how are y'all doing out there? Y'all, I went and did a little deep dive into Deshaun Watson contract. Y'all know what? I'll be back. It is juicy. Okay, I'll be back. I'm coming back. Hey y'all, I'm back. But y'all, ooh, honey, are y'all ready for the juice? I don't know. Some of y'all may know this already. I don't. So I'm gonna assume that y'all don't. Y'all, let's get busy because it's a soap opera, soap opera, soap opera. Okay, so y'all, I was just going through asking different kinds of questions and stuff. Stumbled upon it. So started out, who plays the NFL salary? This is important, y'all. So NFL players are paid directly for by their individual team owners, not by the league office itself. The money used to pay these salaries comes from a combination of shared league revenues such as massive national television contracts, sponsorships and licensing, and local team revenue generated by each franchise. So basically, you know, the franchises, they want profit. You know, now winning doesn't always guarantee a profit. You know what I'm saying? Because if a player is not well liked, you know, how do you navigate that? But when you have a dream, a marketing dream, like Shedeur Sanders, I mean, you're in hog heaven. Hog heaven. Like, okay, y'all, okay, and I know this may sound so mean, but just think about the Baltimore Ravens. Like, when you look at Lamar Jackson, okay, Lamar Jackson, yes, he can play football and whatever. Lamar Jackson is not attractive. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't have the look. There's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he rough on the eyes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everyone's not blessed to be Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur is easy on the eyes, which means that you can, you can market Shedeur. But with Lamar, you know, Lamar is well loved by the Ravens, but can that translate universally or internationally? It hasn't. But with someone like Shedeur, who has, you know, like I say, he was the second most Googled player in the world in 2025, right behind a international soccer player from India. That's huge, because soccer is huge. Soccer literally is an international sport. It's in damn near every country around the globe. And for Shedeur, like, football is really what you got. The Canadian Football League, you know, the UFL, you got, which is struggling, and then you got the NFL. But this is not something like soccer that's everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And it has really taken off in the United States. You know what I'm saying? So for Shedeur to be more popular than soccer players around the world, and only come in second as the second most Google sports person, that's huge. Like Madison Avenue. Madison Avenue would have a field day with Shedeur. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, trust and believe, when Shedeur is named QB1, oh my God, it's about to be on, honey. You're gonna see him down there everywhere. Okay, So let's reel this thing back in. I got excited. Where the money comes from? It comes from 3 entities. League revenue sharing, which means TV deals and national media contracts make up the largest portion of the pool that funds players' compensation. Then you got the salary cap. So under the collective bargaining agreement between the league and the National Football Players Association, roughly 46% of the total gross NFL revenues are guaranteed to go directly to a player's cost and benefit. So just think about football, all the 32 franchises, right? All of that money is collectively pulled together, right? Total gross NFL revenue. So when the NFL, their total gross of their revenues, 46% are guaranteed to go directly to players' costs and benefits. Then you have team budgets. Individual owners manage their own payrolls while staying under the league mandated salary cap ceiling. So when we think about Deshaun Watson's $230 million contract, Mr. Jimmy Haslam is not paying all of that out of pocket. He's not. Y'all thinking that Jimmy, you know what's the era is, you all thinking and continue to put out the narrative that, oh, Jimmy Haslam had to pay this, he's a billionaire. It do mean something. Don't nobody want, you're a billionaire, don't nobody want to lose some money like that. But the bottom line is, y'all are under the assumption that that money came from strictly from Jimmy Haslam, and this right here shows you it don't. You know, and that's the issue. That was the why the NFL and the owners had issues with this $230 million contract, which we'll get into in a few minutes. So of course, so let's just get this straight. The NFL players are not employees of the NFL office. They are legal employees of their specific franchise team. So let's look at franchise ownership. Each NFL team is an independent corporate entity that hires, contracts, and pays its own players, the players that they draft. The league office. The NFL league office acts as an administrative trade association that governs the rules, schedules, and collective business interests of those 32 separate franchise employers, okay? Joint employers. In certain rare legal disputes or labor negotiations, courts may view the NFL and individual teams as joint employers because team league rules tightly control players' conduct, workplace conditions, and contracts. So let's look at the collective bargaining agreement. Let's look at the union. Players are members of a union called the National Football Players Association, the NFLPA. So if you ever see that, that is the union where the of the team of the football players. The contract. The National Football Players Association negotiates a collective bargaining agreement not with a single employer but collectively with the 32 franchise owners. So it's not about them opting out because all their teams are part. So so this kind of like keeps it cohesive. The standard. This agreement sets universal standards for player contracts, benefits, safety protocols, and disciplinary procedures all across teams. I want y'all to pay attention to what I just said, and disciplinary procedures across all teams. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It gets juicy. Okay, so let's look at salary cap. So I said, explain salary cap because I want to, know that a little bit better, and I know maybe you all want to understand salary cap a little bit better. So the NFL salary cap is a hard limit on the total amount of money a team can spend on players' salaries and benefits during a single season. It is designed to ensure competitive balance so that wealthy owners cannot simply buy up all the best players. Okay, so they put a limit on that, because if it's unlimited, then they can just start paying. I'm gonna pay you, come to my team, you know, and it's just a mess. So how the cap is calculated, this is good, y'all, right here. How is the cap calculated? Revenue split. The cap size is determined by the collective bargaining agreement, you know, through the National Football League Players Association. Players receive roughly 48% of all league-wide revenue, such as TV deals, merchandise, and ticket sales. So the division, the total player revenue pool, is divided equally by 32. So it's a revenue pool, okay? The ceiling, let's look at that. The resulting number becomes the official salary cap ceiling that every team must stay under for that league year. So that is how the ceiling, you know, you got the salary cap, the revenue split, the division, and then you got the ceiling. They saying you can't go over this. So teams are they're structured within this, okay, and they must stay in that structure. So how contracts impact the cap? Cap hit versus the real cash. A player's cap hit, what counts against the cap, is often very different from the actual cash they pocket that year. So they get a base salary. This counts 100% against the cap in the year it is paid. And y'all, keep that base salary in mind. Let me repeat that. Keep that in mind. This counts 100% against the cap in the year it is paid. Honey, the way they structured the Deshaun Watson contract, the Browns. Okay, let's keep going. Signing bonuses. Teams can spread the cap hit of signing bonus evenly over the life of the contract, up to a maximum of 5 years. And this allows teams to pay a player a massive amount of upfront cash while keeping their current year's cap hit low. So key cap salary rules, and I know it's gonna be long. I mean, it is what it is, because I mean sometimes you just have to get through stuff. And you know, hard cap. Unlike the NBA or the Major League Baseball, the NFL uses a strict hard cap. There is no luxury tax. Teams cannot exceed the limit for any reason, or they face massive fines and loss of draft picks. So it's very punitive. The salary floor. Teams are also required to spend a minimum amount. Over a multi-year period, teams must spend at least 90% of the cumulative cap space on player cash. Dead money. If a player is cut or traded before their contract is over, any remaining unamortized signing bonus money accelerates and hits the team salary cap immediately. So let's go. So I asked a question: did Jimmy Haslam pay Deshaun Watson's guaranteed contract? It says yes. Jimmy Haslam and the Cleveland Browns ownership group paid the contract, and per the NFL rules, they had to secure the money up front. So when the Browns signed Deshaun Watson to his historic $230 million fully guaranteed contract, the NFL funding rules mandate that the franchise deposit the future guaranteed cash into a league regulated escrow account. This mechanism ensures that if a franchise faces financial ruin, the player's guaranteed money is legally secured and available. So Jimmy Haslam had to put that money up front and give it to the NFL, and they put in an escrow account to make sure that, you know, if you go bankrupt, this is a fully guaranteed contract. So any money that's fully guaranteed has to be paid up front and be placed in an escrow account, you know, so that it does not impact the team. So the upfront fund rule, the NFL Management Council requires teams to secure massive future guarantees in cash. So Haslam had to provide over $160 million in liquid cash shortly after the signing to satisfy the funding policy for Watson's future years. Damn. Liquid cash. He couldn't put no assets or nothing. He had to come up with the liquid cash. The swing and a miss. The sheer size of the payout became a massive point of contention. Haslam later openly admitted to reporters that the trade and contract were a big swing and a miss following Watson's severe injuries, including a torn Achilles and poor on-field performance. So a lot of people just keep saying, oh, he was injured. He was injured. Okay, yes, he was injured, but he also didn't play well. 19 games and only 9 wins, and only one game in which, you know, we could say that he was directly responsible for them winning. So no, we can't do that. We can't do that. We cannot, you know, make this seem, you know, like it was just the injuries. Deshaun Watson was just not playing like a $230 million employee of the Cleveland Browns. Like, let's look at it. Like, hell, people make minimum wage. Okay, if I go to McDonald's every day and I say I'm injured, but I'm just showing up, are y'all gonna pay me? No. You can have a job. Now, you know, like me, I'm okay, working a job, your salary, right? But I guarantee you, okay, when you are off and you're taking your sick leave pay, and you don't have the time saved up to say, okay, I'm gonna take a sick day. When you run out of your PTO, when you run out of your sick leave and all this and that, you gotta take, you know, you gotta get paid without because you don't have no leave. So you're not gonna be paid unpaid leave. So, but Deshaun did not have unpaid leave. So how can we sit here and say, because we know a person can work at McDonald's and I like I had a manager when I was in college and I worked at McDonald's. Her whole thing was, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. So no matter what we do, we had to find something to do. And I mean, it's not like you feel good all the time. I felt horrible at times, but they didn't care. They did not care. It's like, no. And then, hell, you show your ass and you get fired, you ain't getting paid. So what? Okay, I go to McDonald's, I'm employed there, I don't perform. They, you know what I'm saying? And then are they obligated to pay me? No. But with Deshaun, they had to pay him. And it was poor on-field performance, and that's the part that we keep on missing out on. So that's why, you know, so when we think about this current QB competition, is it, you know, and that Deshaun is having to prove himself. Deshaun's having to prove himself because, first of all, you only played 19 games and you only won 9 and you lost 10. So just because you say you feel good or whatever, that's not good enough. You're gonna have to show that you have improved from your poor on-field performance. Nobody cares about the money, because I'm gonna show you about the money. Later, I'm about to get down to about the money. Y'all think this is all about the money. This is not about the money. And for the ones that saying that Jimmy Haslam is paying Deshaun because he's gonna play Deshaun because he wants, hell no. I'll let y'all see as I go on, but I just had to do that, you know. Let me roll this train back on the track. Okay, ownership backlash. Handing out $230 million fully guaranteed cash infuriated other NFL owners. Leaked league documents revealed that the NFL Management Council gave presentation explicitly warning other franchises against copying Haslam's structural model. So then I asked, well, why was the NFL upset about Deshaun's guaranteed contract? Just to get more, you know, make it more nuanced. The NFL league office and the other 31 team owners were furious about Deshaun Watson's $230 million fully guaranteed contract, because it upended the league's economic model, creating an unwanted legal precedent and shielded a controversial player from financial punishment. Listen to that piece. And shielded a controversial player from financial punishment. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So the primary reasons why the NFL was deeply upset include, breaking the precedent of non-guaranteed contracts. Unlike Major League Baseball or the National Basketball Association, where contracts are routinely fully guaranteed, the NFL has historically operated on partial guarantees. Owners feared that the Cleveland Browns deal would set a new benchmark for superstar quarterbacks, forcing other franchises to start fully guaranteeing multi-$100 million deals to remain competitive. This fear prompted unprecedented closed-door meetings where the NFL Management Council explicitly advised teams against offering similar structures in future negotiations. Let's do the upfront funding escrow rule. Remember what we talked about there. Under NFL rules, when a contract is fully guaranteed, the owner must instantly deposit that entire future sum into a league-regulated escrow account. And that was that $160 million of liquid cash that Jimmy Haslam had to deposit into that escrow account. That was league regulated. He couldn't even control it. It was league regulated. Most owners, even billionaires, do not possess hundreds of millions of dollars in liquid cash just sitting around. By creating a precedent for fully guaranteed contracts, Jimmy Haslam threatened to force fellow owners into major liquidity constraints to fund future roster spots. Guys, when you think about billionaires, a billionaire is not like they have billions of dollars just laying around everywhere. That is a myth. It's tied up in all kind of assets, all kind of debt and everything. Because, you know, for a billionaire, debt is a good thing. For us, it's not. I know, leave for my ass. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, most owners, even billionaires, do not possess hundreds of millions of dollars in liquid cash just sitting around. By creating a precedent for fully guaranteed contracts, Jimmy Haslam threatened to force fellow owners into major liquidity constraints to fund future roster spots. Avoiding the financial impact of the suspension. Y'all listen to this one. This one's good. The Browns intentionally structured the first year of Watson's contract to pay a base salary of just $1,035,000. The first year of the Juan's contract, when he was suspended those 11 games, because remember, the NFL suspended him for 11 games. And so the NFL was under the impression that you take $230 million and divide that by 5, right? So 5 divided. So they was hoping to get about $46 million. They was hoping to get roughly $46 million. You know, a portion of that $46 million, right? Because it'll be 46 to 50 million per year, right? And so, including some of that signing bonus. So that's what they was banking on. But but the Browns was like, no, you know. So in order to, you know, I guess work it out, because you know, in Deshaun's favor, they structured the first year of his contract to pay a base salary of just $1.35 million, with the vast majority of the year one compensation coming to via a $45 million upfront signing bonus, because the NFL fines and game check suspensions are docked from base salary. So the $45 million that Deshaun got was part of his bonus. So like I said, it was $46 million, right? They used $45 million as his bonus, and then the other remaining $1 million, that was his base salary. Because NFL fines and game check suspensions are docked from base salary, this structure meant Watson only lost roughly $345,000 during his 11-game suspension for sexual misconduct violation. The league felt the Browns actively undermined the punitive weight of the NFL's disciplinary system, so they was upset. I mean, they was waiting on a payday, and they only got $345,000, and that's all Deshaun had to pay out of $230 million. Avoiding, let's see, severe public relations backlash. Watson faced civil lawsuits from more than 24 women, alleging, and I think there was only 3, so it's like 27, but there was only 3, so it was probably he had to pay 24, he paid 24 different victims to avoid, a public trial. So let's just settle this and be done with it. But then 3 of them was found without merit, and so those was released, dismissed. So Watson faced civil lawsuits from more than 24 women alleging sexual assault and misconduct. The NFL was deeply embarrassed that a team would reward a player facing massive disciplinary scrutiny with the largest fully guaranteed contract in football history. It created a public relations disaster, making it look as though the league's teams prioritized winning over holding individuals accountable for off-field behavior. Honey, they were concerned about that. The NFL got upset because they wanted a cut of that $230 million, and they didn't get it. They only got $345,000. So, and then I put in the NFL contract insurance. So let's talk about that right quick. And this the part where y'all sit here and say that Jimmy Haslam gonna play Deshaun simply because of his $230 million fully guaranteed contract, because he want to recoup some of his money. Y'all listen to this. NFL contract insurance is a specialized financial policy that team owners purchase to protect their cash flow and salary cap from catastrophic player injuries. Because elite quarterbacks and star players are routinely awarded tens of millions of dollars in fully guaranteed money, teams use the high premium corporate insurance policies to hedge their financial risk. So how contract insurance works? First, the premium payout. The teams pay massive annual premiums out of pocket to commercial insurance syndicates like Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London, that is one entity of many, to insure specific player's contract. The claim trigger. If an insured player suffers a severe covered injury such as a torn Achilles or a major shoulder surgery and misses a specified number of games, the policy triggers. The reimbursement. The insurance company cuts a check directly to the franchise ownership group, which is Jimmy Haslam and the Browns ownership group, reimbursing them for a significant percentage of the injured player's guaranteed base salary or signing bonus proportion. The big benefit, salary credits. So let's skip there. Let's go down to the Deshaun Watson example, because that's where it's at. That's why the juice is at. Squeeze it. Okay, the Cleveland Browns provided a textbook example of this mechanism working at scale. During Watson's March 2023 contract restructuring, the Browns explicitly appended an insurance addendum to his deal. This clause allowed Cleveland to buy a maximum policy limit of $91.8 million covering the 2023 and 2025 season. After Watson suffered successive shoulder and Achilles injuries, ultimately missing 38 games, the Browns successfully claimed over $88 million in total insurance refunds. By reclaiming the cash, the Browns secured roughly $25 million to $54 million in staggered salary cap relief across the late 2020s, significantly easing the dead money blow of his fully guaranteed deals. So more than money, you know, the way that Deshaun's, the way that the insurance was situated, you know, whatever. I can't find the word right now. It worked out in Deshaun's favor. It worked out in the team. It worked out in the franchise's favor. By reclaiming this cash, the Browns. Oh, okay. And so, why doesn't every team insure? There's a astronomical premiums. Insurance companies charge millions of dollars up front. The teams generally only buy policies for maximum deal players like quarterbacks such as Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. Exclusion of is this condition waiver process for non-star players on guaranteed contract or non-guaranteed contract. The team does not need insurance. If a lower tier player gets hurt, the team can simply use an injury settlement or cut them and stop paying their salary. And we saw that happen with Luke Floria last season. Remember when he played in the Panthers game, and then he suffered the hamstring while he was catching the ball, and then they say no, they let him go. So I asked, would Jimmy have Deshaun Watson play just so he could recoup some of the money from the fully guaranteed contract? The answer was no. Forcing Watson to play would actually have the exact opposite effect. Jimmy Haslam. So listen, forcing Deshaun to play would actually have the exact opposite effect. Jimmy Haslam collects more insurance money when Watson sits out injured, not when he plays. NFL contract insurance policies are written as temporary total disability coverage. They are designed to trigger and pay out only when an injured player is physically unable to perform. And so let's look at how playing impacts the payout. The player if Watson is healthy enough to be cleared and takes the field, the insurance policy stops paying out. The Browns would have to shoulder 100% of his weekly game checks out of their own pockets with no financial relief. The sitting instead, the policy rewards the team financially when he is sidelined. For instance, when Watson missed extended time following successive shoulder Achilles injury, the insurance policy triggered massive reimbursement. Y'all, I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns, you know, all of a sudden say after, you know, he played against the Bears or whatever, that they say, oh well, he got shoulder, or he suffered some injury, he's sore, whatever. Because you know what, that's gonna trigger the insurance. That's gonna trigger the insurance to start that paying. They're gonna have to pay his salary, not the Browns. Jimbo, dirty old businessman. So proof in action. This dynamic was explicitly demonstrated when the Browns coaching staff chose to keep Watson sidelined even after a 21-day practice when it opened up. Y'all remember when that 21-day when it opened up, and they was like, they just kept him sidelined. They, you know, so because the season was already lost, playing him would have pointlessly forfeited millions in active insurance claims. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to the financial reality. Thanks to Watson missing 38 total games over a three-season stretch, National Football Players Association records reveal that Haslam's group successfully recouped over $88 million in cash reimbursement. These payouts subsequently yielded up to $54 million in staggered salary cap credits to help soften the blow of the historic contract. If Haslam were to interfere and mandate that Watson play, it would solely be motivated by a desperate football desire to justify the trade. Financially, the smarter business move for the Browns has been letting the insurance company pay his salary while he sits. I swear to y'all, they gonna say that Deshaun is injured. So I said, so is Deshaun Watson's injury payout over? No. The insurance payout window is open but the Cleveland Browns are still actively reaping the benefits. The physical timeline of the injury policy has concluded, but the financial kickbacks are designed to trickle in for years to come. The insurance addendum that Jimmy Haslam purchased specifically covered Watson's injuries for the 2023 through 2025 NFL seasons. Because Watson's healthy entering the 2026 season and the explicit 3-year window of the policy has run its course, the insurance company is no longer cutting fresh checks to the Browns for missed games. Okay, the cash is handed over, but the cap credit continues. So let's go. Let's go to the bottom line. Bottom line, Jimmy Haslam has already successfully recouped the cash out of pocket for Watson's missed time. Because remember, all he had to pay was $91.6 million based on for his insurance policy. He had to pay $91.6 million up front for that premium. He reaped over $88 million. So I mean, what, 3 million? You know. However, the front office is using those rolling cap credits, which was in the insurance policy, right now to soften the blow of Watson's remaining contract as they navigate his massive cap hits. So, so again, you know, it's over. You know, the Browns have did what they supposed to do, because let's look at why the post June 1st matters. If Cleveland cuts a player normally, all remaining future bonus allocations accelerate into the current year's cap space immediately. A post June 1st designation allows a team to split that massive financial penalty across 2 consecutive leagues. So with the dead cap split, by utilizing this rule in 2027, the Browns will successfully split Deshaun Watson $86.2 million total penalty, penalty into 2 distinct chunks. In 2027 dead cap is $34.6 million. The 2026 dead cap is $51.6 million. While swallowed over 2 seasons, paying over $51 million for a player no longer on the roster remains a historic financial penalty. However, front offices estimate that a rising league salary cap will help make absorbing that specific 2028 hit much more manageable. So, you know what I'm saying? The Browns are benefiting whether Deshaun play or not. They don't need Deshaun to play in order to reap the benefits. They are already reaping the benefits. So, anyway, y'all, I just wanted to get that off my chest. And, you know, like I say, a lot of things were eye-opening for me, and I hope it was eye-opening for you. Okay, y'all. Love y'all. Bye.